Hello candidates, I am going to dictate you a passage from Progressive magazine. So please get ready for the dictation. The dictation will start after 15 seconds. I am honored to be associated with this ceremony to lay the foundation stone of Jawaharlal Nehru Bhavan. This building, I believe, will become another landmark in this historic and beautiful environs. It is befitting and natural that we name the building that will house our foreign office after Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. With his immense pride in India's great heritage and abiding faith in our country's capacity to march forth to a bright future, Pandit ji came to symbolize the hopes and aspirations of a free India in a brave new world. He was truly the architect of modern India and laid the foundation of a democratic, secular, and pluralistic polity. The institutional and policy foundations laid by him have come to underpin India's rapid ascent on the global political and economic scene. Pandit ji dreamed big for India and worked tirelessly to realize those dreams. His leadership of India and his boundless love for India and its people, however, did not confine him within the frontiers of our country. His gigantic personality and the breadth of his vision had a far bigger canvas. He was the architect of Free India's foreign policy. Within 6 days of his taking the reins of the interim government in September 1946, he pledged in the course of a radio broadcast that India would work for one world in which there was free cooperation of free peoples and no class or group exploited another. Addressing the Constituent Assembly on the night of August 14, 1947, when his thoughts were focused predominantly on India and her future, Panditji's commitment to humanity at large came out clearly when he said that his dreams are not just for India but they are also for the world as a whole. All the nations and peoples are too closely knit together today for any one of them to imagine that it can live apart. He went on to add, peace has been said to be indivisible, so is freedom, so is prosperity now, and so also is disaster in this one world that can no longer be split into isolated fragments. This thought state movingly the impulse that drives our work. No better vision for the world has been conceived till today. Panditji's great quality was that his idealism and vision were rooted in the hard and often harsh reality of an unequal world. He recognized the new democratic India. Along with all the great leaders of our freedom struggle, Panditji also saw an intrinsic link between our foreign policy and the economic aspirations of our people. A free India had to also be a prosperous India. This vision has informed our foreign policy and must continue to do so. Every democratically elected government has to be mindful of the well being of its people. The foreign policy we pursue abroad must reflect our national priorities and concerns. There cannot be a disconnect between domestic capabilities, national aspirations, and external policies. Our foreign policy must help create an international environment conducive to India's rapid social and economic development. Our civilization has had a message for the world that informs our foreign policy vision. That has been a message of unity in diversity, of pluralism, inclusiveness, and secularism. The idea of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the whole world is one family, a policy that combines these universal values with national interest is what Panditji visualized and shaped. For it was our national interest to seek a space in the world to facilitate our development. But our nationalism was not based on narrow chauvinism or aggressive militarism. At the time of our independence, the world had just rid itself of one thought of such negative nationalism when it defeated fascism. Our nationalism was elevated by larger universal principles as well as an abiding commitment to the well being of our people. That is precisely why it was an enlightened nationalism. Similarly, Panditji's idea of non alignment was also based on the principle that we were not aligned with anyone against anyone, but only with our values and national interest. Non alignment was neither an empty slogan nor a pretext to shirk the responsibility to define our own worldview based on national interest. Indeed, non alignment was an expression of our enlightened national interest and continues to be so when today. Even we have worked hard to create the space needed to have the freedom to make policy choices in an increasingly interdependent world that we live in. The means we adopt to pursue our enduring objectives of peace, national security, and development will, of course, change from time to time. They will have to be evolved in response to the changing realities of an ever changing world. While the instruments of our policy and the tactics and strategy we adopt may change with time, the values in which they are based are universal and remain true for all time. Our diplomats are called upon to steer the course of India's foreign relations in an extremely complex global scenario. This what is called for here.